Hi, my name's Wilx, and this is episode 5 of FTB Continuum. Today we're going to start off with the Escritoire for better bee breeding. We're going to do some progression with the Empower and the tree fluid extractor. I'm going to show you a cursed earth mob farm with fans and the mob sorting for that, and a few other odds and ends of improvements from last episode. So let's start off with the Escritoire. What the hell is this thing? So I've already made it. I had to try it out to find out how to use it properly. So it's just wood planks in a carpenter with seed oil. All right, what you do with this thing is we get a bunch of bees. In this case, I'm going to be using cultivateds. And what I'm looking for is I'm trying to get hints as to a better way to breed these things. So if I take one of these, put it there, and then put those in there, we can do an examine species, because this is like playing the memory game, and we don't know what's under these books here right now. So we're going to get a hint first, and it's going to eat these two bees giving me a hint. So we've got smoldering and decomposing. Now that still leaves, I guess we could give it a try. Let's hope we find either smoldering or decomposing. No. All right, so we don't, it could be any one of these three. So let's try for another hint. So we know, okay, we got a 50-50 chance now. So let's try this one. We got it. And this hint gave us marshy and cultivated gets a Derpius. Derpius? All right. Let's try something else. Try again. So to try again, you lift up this one, put it back, and away you go again. And it can give you honeycombs and things sometimes. All right, so we're going to go for a hint again. Eats those two bees. And we got a repair and a forlorn. We'll try it again. Well, now we know where repair is, and we know forlorn is there. We're not sure on these other three. So let's try this one. Forlorn. And we made it. Graduate and cultivated gives us artistic. All right. Oh, and these bees, what I'm using here is these ones are what I consider junk bees. So if we look at them, it's like forest and cultivated. In other words, I failed when I was trying to get to cultivated with this thing. So I've got like piles of bees going through here that are what I consider junk bees. And we're using them the junk bees up in this. Now I already did a whole bunch of them for commons. And these are the ones that I used. Common and cultivated makes a diligent, which is one of the things I'm looking for right now. The other thing I'm looking for is common and cultivated makes a Nobel. And the other one I ate was common and forest makes cultivated. And that's what I was doing, was common and forest to make cultivated. So what is all that about? Okay, let's explain that. So let's say we were going for Nobel. So if you look at Nobel, it's cultivated and common. And there's only a 10% chance. If we find one of these things in the Escritoire, it either increases it by 5% or 50%, whichever is lower. So in this case, it's exactly the same. It would bring it up to 15% chance instead of a 10% chance. So we'd end up using 1/3 less bees doing it. Now, if it were only an 8% chance, it would increase it by 4%, which is 50%, to 12%. So that's what we're attempting to do here. So again, we're going to lift up the one in the center. We'll get a hint right off the bat. Oh, that was good. Brown, right away. Well, let's give this a try. Where? No, that's only giving us a 30. That was dumb. I should have got another hint. Oh, nobody to... Okay, so we know it's this one here and that. And this time I got source and cultivated is an eldritch. That's one we're going to need, so good. Let's try again. Arek and sodden. Robust. Arek, sodden, robust. Arek, robust, sodden. And it didn't give us anything. Nasty. That happens sometimes. Oh, it probably gave us honeycombs. Seem to have a lot more of them now. Smoldering and sodden. They were smoldering and sodden that way, right? Smoldering and sodden. So is this our smoldering? Yes. Sodden. Noble and cultivated makes majestic. That's another one we're going to be looking for, so that's good. Now, when you're doing this, if you're thinking it's a pain, don't bother. Just brute force it and go through. If you're having fun with the memory game, go ahead. This is a little bit of advantage. Might be worth your while. Caffeine and chef. Interesting. Chef. Caffeine, manulin, impregnable. Ooh, impregnable. That gives us Titan. Cool. Sorry, not Titan. Titanium. That's something we really want eventually. That was cool to find. Whoops, that was Valiance. That's not what we want to use. Valiant junk drone. Okay. Get some more from here. These things do hold a lot, but they're definitely not infinite. 5 pages worth. Especially when these stupid things don't stack. Actually, let's make just a little more space for me here. And get just the last one out of this bunch. There we go. All right. Gelid and ethereal. Gelid and lustered. And we got unusual and cultivated gives us an eldritch. All right. Infernal. Energy and attuned. Energy is a bee I really want. They make a good mid-game power supply. A good one. And attuned. Noble and cultivated gives us majestic. Cool. Another one I'm looking for. still haven't got the Nobel one, right? Lavender. Hazardous and modest. Student. I already have that one. Hope we get it soon. I don't want to take too much time with you here. Prehistoric. Diligent and cultivated, unweary. That's one we definitely want. So we're getting good stuff, just not necessarily the one I'm looking for at this particular moment. Marble. Ore crusher and robust. Sinister and cultivated gets us fiendish. That is one we're going to need to get. Honey smelter and energetic. Honey smelter, energetic. What? Whoops. I was there. Oh well. Worst, it just cost me is a B or two. Don't even know how to pronounce that. Sodalite? Sepa? Sinister. Ferrous and ripening. Actually, we need more of those. I finish off that one, right? Yeah. And that's it for my junks. So I guess I'm not going to put you through this anymore. Ferrous and ripening. Refine. Ripening, ferrous, refine. Unusual and cultivated, enrich. Well, actually, we've got enough bees for one more attempt here. Jaded and Manulin. So Jaded, Manulin. And we did it on the very last try. I got a kick out of that. Sorry. I know. Small pleasures. So then what you do is you put it in there and you... There. Did I use the one for the student? Yeah. Let's make sure we do that one as well. Oh, you already memorized it. Okay. All right, I'll sort through these later and figure out which ones I want to keep, which ones are sort of junkish. But we should go sleep. And we'll do a little more bee breeding. Now that we've upped our odds a little bit. So basically what I've done so far is I took forest and meadow. By the way, I went out there and searched and searched and searched for drones. Princesses. I must have come up with I don't know how many, but there's 10 princesses there, 10 princesses there, and a whole pile more up there as well. So what we did is we took forest and meadows, and I actually managed to get a meadows that was 3 babies, and forest is naturally 3 babies. So I was combining them together, and so all my bees are now coming out with 3 babies. Let's get rid of this guy. And we've got some cultivateds here. And actually, let's just look at one of them. Okay, so when I made my cultivateds, so it went common first. They were 3 fertility. And my cultivateds came out as 3 fertility as well. So what I do is, and then when I wanted to change them over, I'd put 10 in here. So this has obviously gone through a whole bunch of them. This maybe not quite so much. So it's gone through all of these, and it's turning it into a cultivated. Actually, if it's gone through that many, it's probably on its way back up to 10. So when it gets back up to 10, or let's say 11, I know that they're stacking and it's the bee that I want. All right. So I'm going to take common and cultivated and put it in there. Oh, I'm using sole frames. I'm using 2 different types of frames. So you make the impregnated first as a craft ingredient. So that those are impregnated sticks, which are made with a block of wood in a carpenter. Gives you 2 impregnated sticks. I got lots of wood. It's not an issue. Then with this, you can make either a chocolate frame, which is decreases the lifespan by 25%, making them turn over a little quicker, get babies faster, as well as increasing production. And that's what I'm using over here is chocolate frames. And then I'm using the sole frames, which reduce the increase the mutation rate by 1.5. So we're doing even better again. But it drastically reduces production, which I don't care about, and it reduces lifespan. So good all round. So we've got sole frames in all of these. So we're going to do a full set of 20. So 10 in this set and 10 in the next set, trying to get our noble and diligent bees over here. Whoops. Why didn't I pick that up? Get in there. And we're just letting them run through one time here. This is my first time using these. These are all brand new. Oh, and as you notice, I did double the number over there as well. It was going to take too long with just 10. But damn, I was sick of going out and hunting for bees. I'm really disappointed in myself that I couldn't come up with a better way to find bees than going out and hunting for them. In every other pack, it has been easier than it's been in this pack. For instance, Age of Engineering. You had the mining age. There was a meadows every few feet. Can't work. Oh yeah, it had to find the flower first. In many other packs, you have Botania, and they've got a hive Cynthia, which can give you all the hive bees. In the Skyblock packs, you can create the hives. In many other packs, there's miners that you can use that'll dig up Rockies and get lots of Rocky princesses that way. There's every other pack, it's been easier to get a whole pile of any type of princess than it has been in this pack. Now, notice I got a bookcase under this one. I'm going to try something a little different. I have no experience with career bees, but the first step in career bees is for a student, which is common and a cultivated. But you've got to, and it says 100% chance, so I'm just going to try it with 1 and see what happens. I don't know if that's true or not, or if it works that way specifically. But we'll see what happens here. So we'll let them do their thing. I'll put these, I got a whole pile of these cultivated drones now. But I'd like more princesses. I'm only switching 2 over right now. I'll start switching these ones over later. The ones that fail. Like 90% of them. All right, so they're doing their thing. Moving on. Oh, something else I wanted to show you while I was still outside, and I ran inside. Up here, I looked at it, and my cart had stopped. Oh, it's going the other direction now. That's interesting. And all the trees had grown up, and I, poked my head in there, and I'm running along the track looking for the cart, and I couldn't find the cart, and I couldn't find the cart. And I'm standing there trying to figure out what the hell happened to my cart, trying to think of what could have caused this problem. And eventually, the cart sort of popped out of me and started going forward. And I know it didn't go through me because watch what happens. It'll stop when it hits me. But a cart launched itself out from me. And then I ran along, and I stopped the cart, and I took a look at, oh, it did get by me. Oh, I didn't think it could. What's going on with this cart? Normally they stop when they're in front of you. Anyways, what I was looking for is the woodcutter was so damaged that it wasn't working, and that's why it stopped on me. And I had to put 2 diamonds in here to repair the hardened woodcutter. Yeah, see, this is what it's supposed to do. It stops right there like that. So don't worry about it. I think it's just a thing to save the server or whatever, that it visually goes away so you don't see it running around the circle for no good reason at all. But I just stood on the track, and eventually it came back. All right, let's move on to our Empower. To do that, first thing we're going to need is 5 display stands. Now, actually, let's bring up the Empower so I can show you what I'm doing. So there's a lot of things gated behind the Empower. All right, so we need the display stands. Now we need the etherics, which are chiseled quartz. And I've been getting I got quartz blocks in the nether. They seem to surround beehives. And so you get quite a few when you find a beehive like that. And then the other thing you need are these ones, which are just block of quartz. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. We need 10 of them. Yeah, 10 and 15. So we're going to take our 10. And we got those done now. And do I have my chisel in my pack here? Hope so. No, of course I don't. Why would I have something useful like that right now? So we take our chisel. Chiseled quartz block. Hope this is what they're looking for anyways. I didn't test this. Whoops. Yep, we got it. Okay, and then we take Whoops. Oh, come on. And that gives it a display stance. Now we're going to need a battery. And to get a better battery, a double battery, we put it back in there again. That's just Vance Coil and Enduries. And then we take, is it one of these and this? Oh, there's something else to it. What? Like that. Okay. And that gives us our empower. Now, I know I was going to be short power, so I made myself a few more of those cold guys, because that's all I've made so far. We're about to get into other things like water wheels and stuff. But I made some more of these. Oh, and I've been putting in blocks of charcoal. I don't know if the middle one, which I just put in the wrong spot, I don't know if this one needs power or not. Actually, I probably did this poorly. I probably should have brought the power up behind it or in the middle of it, because I'm probably going to want to put a hopper underneath these things eventually. Oh well, it's this way for now. And what's next? All right. We need some slime balls. So to get a rice slime ball, that's just rice and water. And if you take 9 of them, you get a slime block. If you take a slime block and do that, you get the green slime balls. And I'm pretty sure it's the green one that we needed. So it's going to be in a pattern like this. And I think that's, yeah, that's already the, I took a block of emerald and put it in the thing already. Okay. Oh, to get the grass, I just made a simple one. I could have made it much better, a wooden camera, and use that. All right, so this goes there. Then these things go around. And we're off to the races. So we'll let it do its thing. Get rid of these extra slime balls. And what was I going to do next? All right. This was a suggestion by Pixie Ninja 23 that I make myself, first off, a lens, which, oh, black quartz. Here's another one. Wilx mentioned that you can use regular quartz. When you go here, it doesn't have to be Certus. It can be nether quartz. And that's much easier to get. So we're making our lens first. Then we're taking that lens. And we're tossing it in here. And now we've got our lens of color. Now we're going to use our lens of color to get us a whole pile of lapis. This is a suggestion from Pixie Ninja 23 that I was mentioning. Okay, so in here I've already got a bunch of coca, but I want maybe 5 stacks of it. And so the way I was getting my coca was I was taking fertilizer, and I've got 1 coca bean up here. And that's a jungle wood behind it. And I was just spamming this thing. And so a stack of fertilizer turns into my coca and more. So 5 and a bit. Is that enough? I don't know. 360. How good is my pickaxe right now? No, it's only luck 1, but I guess I got to put it over here. Oh, by the way, crafting stations are back. Yeah, I've only got 1 on there. So I'm going to need more than 5 stacks. So let's do that again. Because I can always use the cocoa later for other things. For the chocolate frames. There we go. And I'll just save a couple of, whoops. I'll just save those 2 in there. All right, I'm not sure how many of these it can do at once. Let's find out. Can I do 2 stacks? Well, it didn't like that. Oh, I know what's wrong. Yep. It'd really help if I actually put the... you probably noticed that, and I didn't. You got to put the lens on the thing or it's not going to work. Well, I can do 2 stacks at a time. Whoops. I'm not standing far enough away. Let's try 4. And I did all of them. There we go. Now we got lots of lapis. And that was just for a little bit of fertilizer. So you can basically turn apples into fertilizer and do it that way. And then we take our auto smelt pick. I probably should have made this into blocks, but oh well. And now we got this thing up to luck 3 right off the bat. So when I do my next, I need to go mining. I'm running out of stuff for all the things that I want to make at this point in time. Oh, this guy's over here is done by now. All right. So, what are we up to next? We're going to, I think we need to take that and make it into these. And we need to make these. These are copper electron tubes, which are like that. And then you put them with some terracotta, which is, oops, get back there. Recipe. Yeah, just clay, cooked. All right. So we take those. We need 1 of them or 2 of them? 1 of them, I think. And 2 of these? Yes. And that gets us our tree fluid extractor. And then with that thing, we need a... Oh, notice that I don't have nearly as many logs up here. Well, I actually do. They're just hiding. I got an awful lot of logs. Those aren't all full. It's just I locked all the doors, so I put a bunch of them to... so they'd know where to go. I figured this was plenty for me to see up here. And I only need 1. And then we can come around here and we can stick it right there, I guess. Figures. I've got a wrench. Will that flip it around? It did. Okay. We stick that down. And it's extracting it from there. Now we need a way to automate this, and I need to flow the fluids and things like that, but we're going to need that latex for a lot of things later. So tree fluid extractor. So quests. We've got this one done. Claim. We've got this one done. Claim that. I'll have to look at what these other things are. Oh, bleh. Item repair. Well, useful. And the quartz dot. Yeah, I'm not as worried about that thing now. Not that I got the auto smelt. What I'm really interested in is the other things. For instance, no, not there. Industrial rebirth. We can now get into things like covered cable and steampunk, which is the steam for the EFAP, which gets us to what I'm looking for is Monty Python's Flying Circuit, because that is a gate for all sorts of stuff. But we'll do that next episode. For now, what have we got here? Oh, latex can. I did 2 of them. Didn't I pass them both in? That one gave a loot chest. Oh, that just gave the latex. Okay. All right. So other things. Oh, I haven't made it yet. Have I got some bone over here somewhere? Bone. Yeah, I do. And bone tool rod. This was a suggestion by Less Evil that I use that for my sword instead, and I'm in agreement with them. I was thinking that originally, anyways. I think I'll stick with the paper so that we can get the quartz on it, but I'll use bone instead. And I talked about bone and what it does in the Direwolf one. So the more you hit something with it, the more the damage goes up. And when you got a nice fast thing like a rapier, that's very, very useful. All right. Where did I put all those extra? We should open these up before I forget. All right. Well, they're getting decidedly worse as we go along. All right. Let's go take a look at something else, and then we'll go take a look at the bees. I have set up a new mob farm. Actually, I'm not quite finished setting it up. Oh, let's check just before I go. Let's get rid of some of this junk. Food and stuff. Go in here. Electron. We'll put that in there too. Okay. Oh, and saplings. Damn, more saplings. Oh, I did also create. I should have brought it with me. Oh well. I did create this over here to hold all the stupid saplings, because they might be useful. Ooh, these are almost done. I made those sweet chestnuts from last time. I planted them, and a whole lot of them look ripe now. There's still a few that aren't quite there, but most of it is done. And that's good, because I am running out of seed oil. I've used so much seed oil. There is nothing in here, and this is only half full now. All right, so on to the new one of these. So this is what I've set up. I've got fans around dirt there. I've got a spike here. Now, and there's lights in the ceiling for right now. Now, what you can't see from here, let's hope I do this without killing myself. I put some spongy sticks. I don't know if they're necessary, but just in case I got a baby zombie or something and it's snuck in there, I don't really care about the drops from it. I just wanted something to kill it down below. Everything else should get killed on this. I'm a little worried that spiders might try to hide up top, but I'm hoping that they won't. I haven't had that problem before, but who knows in this one. Actually, I need to eat something. Now, none of these fans are going right now, but when I go to place them, what I do is I try to stand in this general direction, and then I place them, and all the fans are pretty much pointing over here. So wherever you're standing is where they will aim when you're placing them. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a... Oh, I hope I brought that with me. Our drop of evil. And I'm going to seal it back up with those. So let's turn off the lighting. This just seemed to be the easiest way to do it. Oh, and I'm using dark glass out there now. There's a little bit of light coming into this door, but otherwise it's a dark room. And we're going to put down that and cover it up. And already they're spawning. But let's go down here, and there's a fan on top of each one of these blocks. Okay, so the way we've got this set up is there is a hopper pointing into this. And this is trying to shove things first in... Oh, I guess I need to get out the compass to show you. Where's my compass? There it is. So priority is a 4 for this, a 2 for the trash can. So far the only thing I've got going in the trash can are arrows. Then over here I'm going to sort through this stuff. So gunpowder, that's one of the things I want to deliberately have a drawer for. And then anything that starts showing up in here, I'm either going to send it to the trash can or to a chest of some sort. What I'm really looking for are spider... You can see the fans are pushing me even back here. We're down here, it doesn't seem to matter, but even this far. So I could have made this bigger if the fans are still pushing me. Now, what I really need from this, other than obviously ender pearls, is the spider eyes. It seems to be the consensus that people would like to see me do a Steve's Carts tree farm. Not tree farm, sorry, mining operation using Galvadorian. Now, to make Galvadorian is a little more than you might think. Galga. There we go. So for the a lump of Galgar, we have to use 3 of these Eye of Galdars. The Eye of Galdars needs the spider eyes and gas tears. I'm going to need 100, over 100 of each of those to make the card. I need over 100 gas tears, and I'm not 100% sure what's the best way to do this. The only way I've been able to think of to do it would be to make up a reserve spawn. But that means, first off, that I can't use the exploding chickens like I did in Direwolf. So I'm going to have to use the spawner the spawner changer. This thing here. But to do that, I need spawner shards, so I'm going to have to go find 4 spawners and break them. running around the nether trying to find 4 and then a 5th to make the spawner sounds like a pain. I might actually go for finding the end portal and hope I get a bunch there. Oh, here's a question for you. If you go to the end and you go to that, I forget what they're called, sulkers or something, do they have spawners? And if you break them, do you get shards from them? Let me know if you know. Otherwise, I'm going to try to get spawners from end portals or something along those lines. Not fortresses, whatever. I forget what those are called. Oh, and we've got to get up to essence before we can even do this. So that's further down in technology. Then even once we do get this, we've got to find some way to make it to a gas, and we don't have flight yet. So I can make a glider, and I can make a staff of teleportation, but the staff of teleportation doesn't go up. It only goes, well, it goes up at a maximum of 5%. And there's you can only use it so often. There's a delay between each time, so you can't use that to gain height. So I'd have to be up somewhere high, use the staff of teleportation, hopefully get close to it, glide over to it, and try to hit it with that thing. Sounds like a pain in the butt, because everything else is going to be gated behind titanium. So going to the Galvadorian is really pushing it off, whereas I could have done the hardened one pretty much right away. But I'm going to have to tech up if we're doing Galvadorian. And I still think there's better ways of doing the mining. For instance, there is the IE's method. If you're looking deliberately for tungsten or whatever, you go out and you get cores, and then you use an extractor once you find what you're looking for, and you have it work in that particular area and get that one. Or with bees. You got 2 different ways of doing it. You can do it with the miner bee. It works in its whole pollination area, which might be 16 away or something like that. And then it ignores Y level, so it can go right down to bedrock and pull up everything in a 16 by 16 area. Or it might be a circle, I don't know. Pull all the ores up in that area before it ends. Or you could deliberately get the bee that does the particular type of metal that you want. So there's a couple of good ways to do it without a cart. Let's go up and take a look at what our bees did. But I want to see the career bee first. I have no idea. I've never worked with career bees before. And yep, 100%. We got a student drone right off the bat. So we'll combine it up for use. Graduate is pretty much the next step. And eventually, once we got a husbandry drone as well. Yentl's quite interesting. It can automate your bees, is what it does. The Yentl would automatically select the best student to go with the princess, and I think it puts them both. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, but I suspect the way it works is it puts them both back in. So let's say you had a miner out in the wild there. You wouldn't have to set up lasers like this. You just use a bee gun, hit the hive with the Yentl, and it would automate itself. And then you have a hopper underneath the apiary and feeding into a chest or some sort of storage or an ender chest or something, sending the materials back for you. All right, let's see how we did on the other things. I'm not going to look at all of them. I'm just looking for colors to see if anybody looks like they changed to something interesting. We got a Nobel drone. What'd I do with my Beealyzer? Nobel Diligent. Well, actually, I could work with that. diligent drone. I got to check all of these to see if the princesses are at least half of something I want. Noble princess. So let's check those three. Noble, noble. Yes! That's great. Noble, diligent. Diligent, diligent. That's great as well. Why am I putting them down the bottom? Put these ones down here. These are keepers for sure. Check that. I will check a lot more of these off camera, but I'm not going to waste your time with it right now. You see why I did so many of these. All right, what do we get here? Noble, noble. All right, we've got a breeding pair already. What's the fertility rate? 2. 2. Damn it. But that'll do. And noble, diligent. Well, not bad. I can probably work with that because this guy's a diligent, diligent, right? Yeah. So I could combine these two together and hope for the best. And see where we go from there. So that's the next step in our line. And what we're working our way up to is Imperial. I forget whether... I always get Imperial and Majestic confused. So Imperial is the one that gives the royal jelly. So we're working way up. So we've got our noble. We've got our noble now. The next step with them is Majestic, which is noble and cultivated. And the other thing we're doing is the industrious. It's indigo, industrious. And that's the diligent and the unweary, and the unweary is diligent and cultivated. Once you've got that, you see, it's sort of a gateway to all sorts of things. For instance, let's say you wanted to do gendustry. And that is not an easy thing to get into in this pack. Gendustry, let's say you wanted a Mutatron. You need to get a power module. And a power module involves scented gears, as well as this stuff down here. That's a whole nother animal. But one of the steps is scented gears. Scented gears takes royal jelly and pollen clusters. So that's from Industrious. That's from your Majestic. Or Imperial. Sorry, Imperial. And beeswax is easy, along with honey. So this one's going to be a pain in the butt. Raw DNA. That's something new. That's not something you have to come up with normally. And you get that by a gene pool. You stick in one of those garbage bees that we have. We got plenty of them. With some ethanol and some enzyme. Enzyme. That's sugar and bacteria in an incubator. Bacteria is wheat and growth medium. Oh, sugar and bone meal. That's what it was. So that's a pain in the butt to work your way up to. I seem to remember you had to ferment. Oh, I know what you got to ferment. The other thing you need to get here is ethanol. And a still or fractionating still. You take biomass, which is in a fermenter with some sort of fertilizer and other stuff. I think you can use saplings, if I remember correctly. Yes, saplings and fertilizer and other stuff. It doesn't have to be honey. But that's quite a bit of work to make your way up there. But I'm quite happy. We did well on the fact that we did 20 bees, or 20 attempted combines. We're pretty close to getting the next step on it. I will probably be up to industrial and majestic for next episode. I think that covers what I wanted to do for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Go out there and have some fun. Thanks.